नमः सर्वेभ्यः। आपादमौलिपर्यन्तां गुरूणामाकृतिं स्मरेत् तेन विघ्नप्रणश्यन्ति सिद्धन्ति च मनोरथः। लक्ष्मीं तनोतु नितरामितरानपेक्षमङ्घ्रिद्वयं निगमशाकिशिखाप्रवालम् ऐरम्बमम्बुरुहडम्बरचौर्यनिग्रहं विघ्नान्तिभेदशतधारधुरन्धरन्ः। सर्वेषां स्वागतं. Welcome to a satsang session after a long time. So the stotra that I wanted to teach for this Navratri was Sri Lalita Trishati Stotra. Now, what happened was due to some busy schedule and I was not well for some time, I couldn't we couldn't take classes as such. So I had asked in the satsang group if you would be willing to practice on your own, and most of you agreed, and therefore I was able to, I don't know how it was possible, but I was able to record and upload most of the and the complete stotra online. But here I really wanted to give the introduction for the stotra, because this is not something that we hear on a normal basis. It is a little more important to know the background of this. So first of all, where is this stotra from? It is from Brahmanda Purana only. Brahmanda Purana is around 7,000 stotras, shlokas. Of that, we have it is split into two parts. First part is the Adhyatma Ramayana, which is around 4,000 shlokas. The other part is Lalitopakhyanam, which is around 3,000. It has around 37 or 38 adhyayas. So it is the story of Lalita Ambika. Now, who is Lalita Ambika or Lalita Tripura Sundari or Shodashi? So that also we will have to understand. See, Adi Shakti has 10 different forms. Adi Shakti is the primordial energy. So she is manifested initially into 10 different forms. The 10 different forms are called as Dashamahavidyas. I think many would have heard of Dashamahavidyas. So Dashamahavidyas, what happens? There are different forms of energy. Energy doesn't have that knowledge of how to be used. It doesn't, we cannot grade it as good or bad or positive or negative. There is no such thing. They manifest in different forms. Like, for example, when I say Adi Shakti, it is potential energy. Potential energy cannot be used on its own. We have to, when I'm pushing something, it is mechanical energy, or when I'm pushing something, it is muscular energy. When I'm using electronics, it is electrical energy. So Adi Shakti forms, it takes forms of Dashamahavidyas. In that Dashamahavidyas, the first one is Mahakali, which is I think the modern connotation of a black hole is very suitable for Mahakali, because once there is a black hole, nothing can exist in and around it. That is the end. That is said to be the end. So like that, Mahakali represents darkness because it is a black hole. There is nothing that exists over there. Then there is Ma Tara. Tara is the if we when all the whole of the creation starts getting uh, sucked in by the black hole, what happens is the light also bends, time also bends. In that, what happens if we see a black hole? No, there is a black hole and there is a beautiful halo over it, a ring like that. That ring is equivalent to what we can understand is of Matara, because once the Sakshatkara of that energy happens, it is said that many people who experience it, it is said that she cannot be seen. The form of Matara is not seen. It is just light. It is bright light. It is like the lightning has hit your eyes. It is like that. We cannot see her. So it is like that. And in the and as we go on, there are more forms of it. These are the two forms. Dashamahavidyas has 10 forms. So we have Mahakali, we have Tara, then we have Chinnamasta, then we have Dhumavati, we have Bhaglamukhi, and then we have Kamalatmika, Bhuvaneshwari, and Matangi, and Tripura Sundari. that is Shodashi. So these are the 10 forms. Now, in these 10 forms, what happens is for us, that means for people who have manifested in the samsara, that means we are living in samsara, we have very little limitations of inviting that energy to our homes, because we cannot invite all the energies into samsara. They don't have, like, for example, there is a story about Mahakali itself where she is not, once she starts her rampage, she is not able to stop. So finally, being a mother, she only recognizes that one emotion of being a mother. So we, all those energies cannot be invited, and upasana of all those energies should not also be taken place. Like for example, for I think some temple in Rajasthan is where there is Baglamukhi, and the upasana is done by throwing red chilies into the Havan Kund. So that and all we cannot do. There are three forms of worship: Dakshinachara, Vamachara, and Kaulachara. Dakshinachara is Satvika, where nobody is hurt. No upasana is done through Rajasic or Tamasic tattvas, Sattvic only. That means the discipline is brought through body itself. That means we have certain anushtanas that we only have to perform, like staying, doing upavasa till the this thing completes, the puja completes, doing mudras so that we activate ourselves, etc., etc. So it is purely sattvic. Now, of these 10 energy forms, 4 energy forms can be completely realized through this sattvic or dakshinachara method. So of that, we have Kamalatmika, who is nothing but the form of Lakshmi, who represents all the material uh, prosperity, wealth, etc., etc. Then there is Bhuvaneshwari, again very sattvic, and she grants overall prosperity, like age, ayur, arogya. We say no, ayush, arogya, and the overall wealth is associated, happiness is associated with Bhuvaneshwari. Samriddha, being prosper in a prosperity in that way. And then we have Matangi. Matangi, also called as Shamala, she represents arts. Arts, also another form of, we can consider Saraswati. She is another form where she represents all the art forms that can be inherited. So usually for artists, Matangi, they pray upon her. Usually for those wealthy people, they usually pray upon Kamalatmika. Like that, they have certain siddhis. Those energies only come into their life because they only pursue that. Then there is something else. The ichhas needn't necessarily be limited to manifested forms, or it cannot be limited to unmanifested forms or spiritual forms. There can be Ichha Shakti in anything. That Ichha Shakti, overall Ichha Shakti, has helped us to gain a certain form. That is the what we say as the human form. So now the Ichha Shakti has to be, we have to invite certain energy to manifest that Ichha Shakti. For that, it is uh, Lalita Tripur Sundari, or mainly she is called as Shodashi. Shodashi, a 16-year-old girl she is. It shows the Ichhas. So she is ever young. That is the form of Lalita Ambika. So of all the 10, usually the Upasana is done for Lalita Tripura Sundari. So that Vidya is called as Sri Vidya. So as we have heard of Sri Yantra and all those worship, this is one of the premier texts which gives us a hint about Sri Vidya. And this is much older than Adi Shankara, but he was the one who brought the methodology. He was the one who manifested the Sri Yantra. This is much older because the Puranas are much older. And if we look at his bhashyas, that means Adi Shankara has written bhashyas to many older scriptures. he has written a bhashya to this small text also. This is around the actual stotra is around 59. That's all. It is only 59 shlokas. It has 300 names of Lalitambika. Of that particular stotra, he has written a bhashya. So we can imagine the importance he has given to this particular scripture when it comes to understanding Sri Vidya. So for that, this particular text is important to understand, not in particular that we have to start doing the Sri Vidya or worship or anything like that, just understanding it. Now, what is this Lalita Trishati Stotram? Like I said, it is a part of Lalitopakhyanā. Lalitopakhyanā, as I said, is 3000 shlokas. In that, what happens after Lalita Upakhyana, which means the story of Lalitambika. After the story of Lalitambika, we cannot read 3000 shlokas at once. So what happens after the Lalitopakhyanā? The story of her evolution has been summarized in something called as Lalita Sahasranama, which we have all learnt. Okay, so that Lalita Sahasranama has 1000 names of Lalitambika throughout her avatars, whatever the story has is going to narrate. All that is going to be summarized in Lalita Sahasranama. But after that also there is something more important that is called as Lalita Trishati. So this is where it appears. Now this what I said was 59 shlokas of 300 names, no? But it is not just read with those 59 names, 59 shlokas. Reason is because we need to understand the story behind it. What is the story behind it? See, we have three parts in this. One is the Purva Pitika, then we have the Stotram, then in the end we have the Uttara Pitika. The Purva Pitika, it contains the narration, the story behind this particular Lalita Trishati Stotra. And the Uttara Pitika contains the methodology in which it should be chanted. What does this particular Purva Pitika, what is the story behind this Stotra? So it so happened that if we remember, Lalita Sahasranamam is delivered through the dialogue between Bhagavan Hayagriva and Rishi Agastya. So all our scriptures are delivered in that way only, where we take the Guru Shishya Parampara. There is one who is the Guru and one who is the Shishya. Shishya asks the questions, Guru gives the answers. This is how all our scriptures go. In Adhyatma Ramayana, the first half of Brahmanda Purana, we have Mahadeva and Parvati. Okay. Here we have Bhagavan Hayagriva and Maharshi Agastya. So here what happens is, after Lalita Sahasranama, actually the story goes that Rishi Agastya is a very ardent devotee of Lalitambika. And he manifests his wife Lopamudra. If you remember Lalita Sahasranama also, it says Lopamudra Archita is a name of Lalitambika, one who gets worshipped by Lopamudra. So he manifests his wife through nature only. And she is much bigger devotee of Lalitambika. And she keeps doing the pujas and all those things. One day, she hears from the idol itself. That means from Lalitambika herself, she hears. It starts to speak to her. The idol starts to speak to her. What does it say? It says, I have never seen this kind of bhakti as I have seen from Devi Lopamudra. So I want to manifest, I want to show you my Swarupa. But it is not possible for me until you become eligible. If you remember, even in Bhagavad Gita also, in the Vishwarupa Darshana, until and unless he gets the Divya Chakshu, Arjuna gets that particular Divya Chakshu, he will, vision, divine vision, Drishti, he will not be able to see the Vishwarupa. So first he has to get that. Krishna says the same thing. You have to first get that. Let me give you that first. So in the same way, here Lalitambika says, I want to show myself to you, but you are not ready yet. You don't have the eligibility yet. So what you should do is ask Rishi Agastya to go to Bhagavan Hayagriva and get that knowledge, that Veda, which will contain how to realize the Sakshatkara, how to realize my Sakshatkara. You ask Rishi Agastya to learn it from Bhagavan Hayagriva and then give you the Upadesha. So, Lopamudra, Devi Lopamudra conveys this message to her husband, Rishi Agastya. So, Maharshi Agastya also goes to Bhagavan Hayagriva. Now, who is Hayagriva? Hayagriva. Haya means horse, Griva means neck. So, Hayagriva is a manifestation of Narayana, who saves the Vedas when it is stolen by two demons. Brahma has the ability to create this Srishti, create this creation, because he has the knowledge of the Vedas. That is what. That is the reason why we say Vedas belong much greater than, it has a place much greater. So what happens is there are two demons, if I'm not wrong, Madhu and Kaitaba. They go and they steal this knowledge from him. And not steal means, we need to understand, not literally steal the scriptures. That means take over that knowledge. And they try to use it for some bad manifestations. So now Narayana has to manifest into something to, and that means take avatara to protect this knowledge. So he takes the avatar of Hayagriva. So Bhagavan Hayagriva, what he does, he destroys one demon called as Madhu, therefore he is called as Madhusudana. And then the female form of Narayana, that is Narayani, she takes the form of, she takes another avatara, and then she kills Kaitaba, therefore she is called as Kaitabi. So there are overlaps with the story. So both of them have destroyed it, but Bhagavan Hayagriva, when he has to take back that Veda, take back that knowledge, like I said, it is not a scripture where you steal the book and go, it is the knowledge. So he has to transfer that knowledge from these two to them, to himself. So when he does that, he does Ahvana of Gayatri Devi, that is Vedamata. So she, she shows her form, Sakshatkara. So he now has the knowledge of creation. So he is now the guru of this Brahma Vidya. And he is the only one who has seen that until and later on, when we see Rishi Vishwamitra also does the Sakshatkara of Gayatri Devi. Until that point of time, he is the only one who has that knowledge, that is, who has seen the Sakshatkara of Gayatri Devi. Then what happens? He doesn't, he is, like I said, he has the knowledge, but that knowledge of creation must only be with Brahma. Then he transfers it back to Brahma again. Therefore, he is the only one who has seen all the 10 forms of Adi Shakti. When Rishi Agastya goes to Bhagavan Hayagriva and he asks for this, and he says, yes, you are a big Rishi, you have done your tapas, so you are eligible for it, so I will give you the stotra. And he gives Lalita Sahasranama. And we end that Lalita Sahasranama, if you remember, Uttarakhande, Brahmanda Purane, Uttarakhande, Hayagriva-Agastya Samvade, Lalita Sahasranama Kathanam Sampurnam. He gets that. Rishi Agastya, then he comes back and he gives the same Upadesha to Devi Lopamudra, and they both worship Devi Lalitambika. And after that, what happens? Again, the Asharira Vani, or the connect, divine connect appears. And Lalitambika, once again through Lopamudra, she says, yes, Lalita Sahasranamam is for my Kripa Kataksha, which will always be there with you. But I want to show you my form. And I can only show you my form when you are, when you learn that particular vidya that lies in a very rahasyati rahasya. That means a very secret, very special stotra. So that also is there. That means whereas one special stotra, which is very gupta, very gopaniya, very it is very exclusive. It is not for everyone. But you are eligible for this because I myself want to show my form to you. So ask Agastya Maharshi to go back to Bhagavan Hayagriva and get this from them. So again, this is conveyed from Lopamudra to Rishi Agastya, and then he goes back. When he goes back, Hayagriva is in deep penance. That means he's already sat for tapas. So you cannot disturb somebody who is sitting in dhyana. So what Rishi Agastya does, he has to give his prostration anyway. He has to go and he has to do his namaskara. No, he goes to his guru, he does his namaskara, and he holds his feet and he falls to his feet. But this doesn't awaken Bhagavan Hayagriva. He is in deep penance. And now what happens when that person has said that, and I mean, he's showing his interest and he is bowing down without the Ashirvada, he cannot get up. When somebody, when we fall to somebody's feet, when that person doesn't respond, we cannot just get up. That person has to accept it, no? So he is there. He is also of a, with the Dhrida Sankalpa, he has come that he has to learn that this thing. So what happens is he is there like that, and time passes. That means Bhagavan Hayagriva is in deep penance, and then Rishi Agastya is falling at his feet. This goes on for 3 years. They don't move. Either of them don't move. For 3 years, it is like that. Then, after 3 years, the Bhagavan Hayagriva gets a divine vision. Devi Lalitambika, along with her consort Kameshwara, both of them appear to Bhagavan Hayagriva, and they say Rishi Agastya and his wife Devi Lopamudra, both of them have proven that they are my ardent devotees, and therefore they are eligible. They have the yogyata to learn this particular stotra. I know it is exclusive, it should be given only to some people, but I myself want to show my form to them. Therefore, they are eligible. So please give them the Upadesha of the stotra to them. So now Bhagavan Hayagriva says, surely we'll do it. And then he opens his eyes. And then, that we can imagine that. And he asks Rishi Agastya to stand up. And he says, for the first time, I've seen many people who have asked me this. But for the first time, Devi Lalitambika, along with Kameshwara, have manifested before my eyes just to say that you are eligible for this. So you are probably the only bhakta in the three lokas, Trilokya, among three, in the three lokas, there is no other bhakta like you who has won Lalitambika, who has won her Kripa Kataksha. So therefore, now I will give you this knowledge. What is this knowledge? Of all the 1,000 names that we have learned, there are 300 special names. These 300 names are special because grouping them together, they give the Bija mantra of Lalitambika Upasana. Lalita Upasana can be done through this Bija mantra. And there are 15 letters, 15 varnas in this Bija mantra. And that Bija mantra, chanting it is going to give the Rupa of Lalitambika. That means it is going to come when we chant certain letters, no? It creates a waveform. When we close our eyes and then do it, we are able to recognize that wave. And when we keep chanting this continuously, it creates the image. So that, he says, these 300 names, every 20 names is going to give the key Bija mantra, Bija Akshara. Together, they give the 15 letter Panchadashakshari mantra, it is called as. So that is Ka, E, so we will see that and we go to that. We will see that in the later. So these, it is going to, when we chant it together, that creates the chanting practice, the upasana. That is when we start doing our tapas. But for that, you need to understand the grouping of the names. Therefore, I'm going to give you those 300 names, and you have to recognize the letter based on those names. And he starts giving these 300 names of Lalitambika. So when we look at this, if we look at this, the Purva Pitika, it is Agastya Vacha who is speaking. Hayagriva Daya Sindho, Bhagavan Shishya Tvatta Shrutama Sheshena, Shrotavyam Yadyadasti Tat, I have heard. Yat Yadasti Tat, Rahasya Nama Sahasram. Okay. Apitvatta Shrutam Maya. I have heard. Within the Sahasranama, I have heard there is a Rahasya Nama within that. There is one Rahasya within the Sahasranama. Okay. So, I want to learn that. So, what I have learned, Paryaptir Naiva Jayat. I have learned the Sahasranama, but I want to know the secret of that Sahasranama. In within that Sahasranama, there is a secret. I want to learn that also. Kindly tell me that. So, then the Suta Uvacha has come over here practically because all the Puranas is given through Suta Muni. Most of it is. Even the Mahabharata also through Suta Muni only. So Suta Muni is going back and then he is recalling this. He is telling this. Okay. So now, like this, Suta Muni says that it has been Pranamya Vipram Samunihi Tat Padavat Yaja Tat Padavatya Jansthitah, in that pose. Okay. Then Varshatrayavadhi Tatha, for 3 years he stayed like that. Guru Shishyav Tatha Sthitav. They stayed like that only. Then Tachrunvat Tacha Pashyantaha Sarve Lokaha Suvismitaha. Everybody, the 3 lokas, when they heard that they are sitting like this, Bhagavan Hayagriva is in deep penance, and then Rishi Agastya is at his feet, and they are like this for the 3 years. The whole world, Sarve Lokaha Suvismitaha, they were surprised and they wanted to have a look at it. Then what happens? Tatra Shri Lalita Devi Kameshwara Samanvita. She materialized with Kameshwara. Then Pradurbhuta Hayagrivam Rahasyamevo. She started speaking. With to Hayagriva, she started speaking. Sri Devi Uvacha. And she says, Ashwanana, Vayof Pritihi, you teach this Shastra Vishwasini. So she said, teach this Shastra to him. And then you teach him the way also how to chant it, not just this thing. You teach the Rahasya, means the Rahasya would include the methodology of the learning also. So teach that, she says. Then Hayagriva Huvacha, Krutarthosi. I have never seen anybody for whom the Lalita Ambika herself manifested. So he says Krutarthosi Ghatodbhava. Ghatodbhava means Agastya over here. Ghate Udbhava. So he has come, I think Kumbhaja also he is called as in the later. What it means was Agastya Maharshi is born out of a clay pot. So he is also called as Kumbhaja, Ghatodbhava, etc. etc. So Lalitambika, see, your bhakti has no equivalence. Tvatsamo Lalita Bhaktaha Nasti Jagatraye. In the 3 lokas, I have never seen any bhakta equivalent to you, where Lalitambika herself has manifested just to tell me to deliver the Upadesha to you. So I will definitely teach you. Okay. Then when I teach you what is the Rahasya Nama Sahasram, see, in that you have to understand. Guhyatamam Mune. Avashyakan Tatopyetat Lalitam Samupasitum. You have to do Upasana of Lalitambika through this method. Then Tadaham Sampravakshami, I will tell you, Lalitam Banu Shasanat, on the order of Lalitambika. So, why in this, first of all, you need to understand Srimat Panchadashaksharyaha Kadi Varnan Kraman Mune. It starts from Kakara. So therefore, Kadi Varna, Ka Adi. Kadi Varnan Kraman Mune, Kramat Mune. I will tell you as per the manifestation of those Panchadashakshari mantras. Okay. पृथक विंशति नामानि कथितानि घटोद्भव पृथक विंशति नामानि every 20 letters is going to lead to one varna, one bijakshara, and therefore 20 into 15 aksharas, it is going to give us 300 names. That is the reason Trishati it is called as. So having said this, ahatya namnan Trishati sarva sampurti karini, this Trishati Stotra has the power to manifest all your ishtas. Sarva Sampurti Karani, it will deliver anything that you want. Rahasyati Rahasya Eshaha Rahasyati Rahasyaha Gopaniya Prayatnataha. So you have to make that methodically, we have to make that particular effort. Okay. Tam Shrunushva Mahabhaga, that you listen to. Now you listen to what I'm saying you. Savadhanena Chetasa. It is very important why I'm giving the Purva Pitika and Uttara Pitika. In the Uttara Pitika, there is one more shloka which says that Agnanena Patanam na kurvantu. It should not be chanted without knowing the meaning of it. So therefore, it is important that we have the Purva Pitika and the Uttara Pitika also. Initially, I thought, let me teach the Katha and the Stotra and the Uttara Pitika, which is around 59 shlokas. So it will come around 118. There are 27 shlokas of, 29 shlokas of Purva Pitika. I added that later because one has to understand from where this is coming from. So, Kevalam Nama Buddhiste Nakarya Teshu Kumbhaja. Just the name, if you chant, it can fulfill all your karyas. So from there, they start with Shrotavyam. He starts Ityuktva Tam Hayagrivaha Proche Nama Shatatrayam. He starts the shloka. So in that, we have the Nyasa. I think Nyasa is pretty simple, not too this thing also. It is Asya Shri Lalita Trishati Stotra Mahamantrasya Bhagavan Hayagriva Rishihi. So this has been composed by whom? Hayagriva Rishihi. Anushtup Chandaha, in Anushtup Chandaha, Shri Lalita Mahatripura Sundari Devata, who is the deity of this, Lalita Mahatripura Sundari. Aim Bijam Sau Shaktihi. Sau he, you can say, but Sau Shaktihi. Clean Kilakam Mama Chaturvidha Phala Purusharthe Jape Vinyogaha. All the Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha will be Chaturvidha Phala. To get the Phala of those Chaturvidha Purusharthas, we are doing this. Then we have to, I've already said this, when we are going for either the Sahasranamas or the Astakshara mantras or any of the stotras, the dhyana is very important because we have to think of her form. Before we start going to her namavali, we have to materialize her form in our mind. Otherwise, we will get diverted. Thinking about Lalitambika, we have to have the picture of Lalitambika in our mind. So the dhyanam is very important. Why it is important? It says, Ati madhura chapa hastam aparimita moda bana saubhagyam arunam atishaya karunam abhinava kula sundarim vande. Ati madhura, we're talking about sugarcane. Chapa hastam, she is holding that. Aparimita Amoda Bana Saubhagyam. She is holding the banas in one hand. And Arunam Atishaya Karunam, the one who has in her eye, who has the brightness of the sun, Arunam, in her self-representance. Then, and her eyes shows Atishaya Karunam, too much of courtesy, too much of matritva. Mamta, or whatever we want to say, the compassion is shown. Kula Sundarim Bande. So the image of Lalitambika is now set. That is the reason I wanted to put this also. So when she's like this, we can see her. She's like this. Then we have a Namavali. In the Stotram, the first Bijakshara is Kakara. That is one reason it says Kadi Varnan Kramat. So it says Kakara Rupa Kalyani, Kalyana Gunashalini, Kalyana Shaila Nilaya, Kamaniya Kalavati. Like this, we have 20 names. That gives Kavarga. Next is Evarga. Ekara Rupa. Cha Ekaksha. The Chakara is for and because of the Sandhi acting, it becomes Chaika. So it is Ekara Rupa Cha Ekaksha. Sorry, it is Ekakshar Ekakshar Ekaneka Cha Ekakshar Ekanekakshara Kritihi. So it has to be split Ekara Rupa Cha Ekaksharya Ekanekakshara Kritihi. And then we have all these things with Chakara, it's starting over here. We have to separate it. It is Cha Ekananda. It is Cha Eka Bhakti. It is Cha Eshana. It is Cha Yenah Kuta Vinashini. So like that, it has to be split. So the second is Ekara. Next is Ikara. Ikara Rupa. Then Lakara. Then Hreem. Then again, we have these are Panchadashakshari. So we have 15 letters coming over here. Now it is delivered, all these 15 letters, now it is delivered in three groups. What are these three groups? First group is called as Srimad Vagbhavakuta. In Srimad Vagbhavakuta, it is the perfect manifestation of voice, or we say the Shiva and Shakti perfect manifestation is there. Then what happens? Next one is called as Madhyama Kuta. The first we see Kakara, Ekara, Ikara, Lakara, and Hrimkara. The first five are actually in Srimad Vagbhava Kuta. Then we have Madhya Kuta or Kamesha Kuta, also it is called as. So this first part is actually given by. Okay, we will go to that in this thing we will get. First five letters, it comes in Srimad Vagbhava Kuta. Then the next Kamesha Kuta is manifestation, desires. It is for all the desires that we have. There we have Hakara, then we have Sakara, Kakara, Hakara once again, Lakara, and then we have Hreem. So we can understand that all the Kutas are ending with Hreem. There is one more, Shakti Kutam. Shakti Kutam is for Devi. That Shakti Kutam also ends with Hreem only. So all the kutas end with Hreem. So these are to be chanted with first Srimad Vagbhava Kuta is one set. Then again we start. There is one single pause over there. Then we have Madhyama Kuta or Kamesha Kuta. Again we have Hreem. It ends again with Shakti Kuta. We have another set of letters. See, three sets we have. Like this, we have all the Panchadashakshari mantras. Sakara, Lakara, Hrimkara, all form, the last three varnas form Shakti Kuta. So three groups are there in which it has been given. Then we start with the Uttara Pitika. What is this Uttara Pitika? Hayagriva has given the way to read it. But how do we perform this? That means for Sakshatkara or for realizing Lalitambika, how do we read it? So he starts, Ityevanthe Mayakhyatam Devya Nama Shatatrayam. I've given you, but Rahasyati Rahasyatvad Gopaniyan Tvaya Mune. It is very secret. So you have to, you know how to do the Acharana. So Shivavarnani Namani Shri Devya Kathitanihi. Shivavarnani Namani, there are Shivavarnas. Those were actually given by Shri Devi. That means Devi said it alone. Those names she gave it herself to Bhagwan Hayagriva. Shaktyaksharani Namani Kamesha Katitani cha. Shakti's varnas were given by Kameshwara. Then Ubhayakshara Namani, both of them gave it. Ubabhyam. He Ubabhyam Kathitani Vai. Both of them chanted it together. So this stotram, when we have seen the Shiva, Shakti, and then Samanvaya of them, both of them bringing it together, there is nothing equivalent to this. So one who understands this jnanena sadrisham stotram, Sri Devi Pritidayakam. Once people understand this whole concept and then the concept of Shiva Shakti and their Samanvaya and then they chant it, that is Pritidayaka to Sri Devi. Lokatrayepi kalyanam sambhaven natra samshayah. This is nothing but phalastuti. So the benefits has to be said over here. Then what happens? This is Hayamukha Gita. This is called Suta. Rishi calls this Hayamukha Gitam. Stotra Rajam Nishamya. This is like this, the king of the stotras. Because with this, anything can happen, everything can be realized. So now Agastya Uvacha, he asks Ashwanana Mahabhaga Rahasyam api me vada. That means you told me Shiva Varnani, you told Shakti Varnani, you said Ubhaya Varnani. So in that he is asking Shiva Varnani kani atra kanyatra, Shakti Varnani kani hi, Ubhayor api Varnani kani va. So you tell me kani va vada deshika. So iti prishtah kumbhajena Hayagrivo vadat punaha. So Bhagavan Hayagriva starts to tell him again. See here, Tava Gopyam Kimastiha Sakshad Ambanushasanath. This has been given directly from her. Idam Tvati Rahasyante Vakshyami Shrunu Kumbhaja. Etad Vijnana Matrena Sri Devya Siddhida Bhavet. After understanding this only, the Sakshatkara can happen. Ka Trayam. Ka appears 3 times. So all the namas of Ka Trayam, Kakara, Rupini, we have 20 names. Like that, Ka appears 3 times. That means 60 names. That was given by Ka Trayam and then Ha Dvayam. Hakara, there are 2 times. So we have 40 namas of that. So we have 100 names, 60 of Ka and then 40 of Ha. Cha eva Shivo Bhagah Prakirtitah. This is called as Shiva Varnani. Shiva Varnani was given by whom? Lalita Ambika herself. Then Shaktiaksharani Sheshani. Shaktiaksharani Sheshani, we have Ekara, then we have Hakara is given over here. Na? So we have Ekara, then we have Lakara, then we have Sakara, then we have leaving Hrim and leaving Kakara and Hakara. Whatever is left out, those are called as Shaktiaksharani. Those Shaktiaksharani were chanted or were given to Bhagavan Hayagriva through Upadesha by Kameshwara. Hrinkara is Ubhayatmaka. That means Hrinkara indicates both of them together. That is the perfect Samanvaya of Devi and Shiva and Shakti. So Hrinkara Namani, there are 3 Hrinkaras. Hrinkara comes 3 times in all the kutas. So all the 3 Hrinkaras, it was chanted together by Devi and Kameshwar. So those are Ubhayatmaka Varnani. So like this, it was delivered to Hayagriva, Bhagavan Hayagriva. So this is how you have to understand. So while chanting in the Vagbhava Kuta, we have Kakara. And then again, we have Kakara in this thing also, in Madhyama Kuta. And then in the last one, that is Shakti Kuta also, there is Kakara. All 3 Kakaras were, and Hakara also, we have one in Vagbhava Kuta and then we have in the Madhyama Kuta. All of them were chanted by Devi. And then the rest, Kameshwara, he chanted. That is also, it comes up to 140. The Hrinkara, 60. 3 Hrinkaras are Ubhayatmaka Akshara. Therefore, that is the key. That is the perfect, what do we say? The absorption of manifestation. The Shakti has no understanding without matter. So Shiva Shakti has to come together for manifestation. So that manifestation can only happen with Hreem. Therefore, every puta ends with Hreem. So that Hreem is the actually the key over here, which connects our from here our ichhas to manifestation. Hreem is important. That is what is the indication. So that Hreemkara nama, 60 namas were chanted together by both of them. This is what they are saying. So while doing this japa, you have to remember all these things. Then from this, the forward, the next mantras, it shows the construction of the Shri Chakra, Shri Yantra. So here we can see Chaturbhih Shiva Chakraischa, Shakti Chakraischa Panchabhihi. There are 4 Shiva Chakras, 5 for Shakti Chakra. Navachakraischa Siddhidam Shri Chakram Shivayor Vapuhu. So they become a part of it. Trikonam Ashtakonancha Dashakonan Dwayan Tatha. So Chaturdakaram Chaitani cha etani Shakti Chakrani Panchacha. So the akara that we have seen of Shri Chakra, it is derived from interpreting these mantras. So that is the reason why this is one of the most prakarana granthas to understand what is Sri Vidya. So in that, what we understand is the first part of Vagbhava Kuta, it forms the topmost part of Devi. When we do the Sakshatkara, how it happens means the Vagbhava Kuta, when it is chanted, it gives her head. That means this part. Then the Madhyama Kuta, it completely manifests. That means the Trikona, a complete akara of her sitting, it comes. Then the last one, that is the Shakti Kuta, is the base. That is the reason Devi is usually visualized in a Trikona form. That is the reason in most, actually not most, in all of her visualizations, pictures, if we see, she's sitting, she's not standing. She's sitting in a posture which is going to show a triangle. That is how it has been visualized, because she is the 3 kutas show this particular form. That is the yantra that we are constructing. That is the Shri yantra. So it has come from all these things. Then how do we chant this? That is one more important thing that is also given over here. We usually don't look at the interpretation of shlokas because we are far away from that. We don't understand what is the equivalence of that into our comprehension. But over here, they have given a very simple interpretation. So now, 2 things that we need to remember. One, people have to listen to this. That means, Jnanena Sadrisham Stotra. After attaining the knowledge of the Purvapara of the complete shloka only, we should chant this. It shouldn't be very, because the namas are indicative of something. So if I chant it without understanding that, okay, 20 namas have to contribute to one bijakshara, I am not understanding it. I am not concentrating, focusing on the kakaras. So only then the visual, when I close my eyes and then chant, the vision of the wave, that can happen only when I know the vijnana of it. Focused thought. So that should be known. The second one, what is the methodology? Like how should we do the achara? What is the acharana of this? So for that, it is said, it should be chanted from the Shukla Pratipada till the Paurnami Tithi. Okay. So it has which shloka was that? Shukla Pratipadādarabhya Paurnamya Asya Vidhi Kramat. So this should be chanted from Shukla Pratipada till the Paurnami Tithi, which is starting tomorrow, being Navratri as well. Tomorrow is Ashwayuja, Shukla Pratipada or Padya. And there on it goes towards I think 7th is Paurnami Tithi. So even though Navratri ends on 2nd, no, the Vijayadashmi is on 2nd. After that also, there is we have to go till 7th. I think 7th is Paurnami. So they should be chanted till then. So those who want Ishti Purti or anything like that, they want to realize that they should be chanted. Now, how should it be chanted? The Vidhana is that one has to take an oil bath. Tailabhyangadikam Datva. So first, oil bath has to be taken, then this has to be chanted. After the stotram is chanted, I have not added it over here. After the stotram is chanted, usually as per tradition, Kumkumarchana takes place for Devi with these 300 names. So Kumkumarchana takes place. If I don't know, nowadays it has become very easy to get a Sri Chakra, but people don't know how to worship it. It is not recommended because we don't know how the Vidhana, it invites all bad energy if we don't follow the niyamas. But if we have Devi's idol, then that Kumkumarchana can take place for her with these 300 names. Then Naivedya must be offered. After Naivedyam, there is a very strong this thing for insistence of Brahmana Bhojana, considering that here we should not take a very general approach to it. Brahmana Bhojana does not mean that we can invite every Brahmana and then that is not it. When we say Brahmana Bhojana for a particular script, that means that the acharana of that script must be manifested with that Brahmana. That means he should be a Sridevi Upasaka. He should be into that Vidya. Then inviting him makes sense. Just for the namesake of it, it doesn't make sense that we invite everybody because there are multiple interpretations. Just an example I'm giving. When we do Pashanchami while eating food, some people keep 3 mounds of rice, small mounds of rice, indicating Trishakti or Tridevas. Some people keep 4, indicating Chaturvedas. Some people keep 5, indicating their allegiance to Panchabhutas. So we cannot mix up the acharas. We call somebody and then we cook as per our methods and we feed it to him. It is bad for their energies also. So the best way to understand Brahmana Bhojana is that if you cannot get anybody from your achara to come to invite, or if it is costly also, now considering that, what can be done is Upayana Dana can be done. Upayana Dana means after the whole Vrata or chanting is done for so many days, after that is concluded, some grains can be taken and given to any Brahmana. He will cook in his method and he will consume it. So there is no problem with respect to energies. The cooking is also based on certain, because we will never see anybody just walk up to a kitchen and then cook in the way they want. They have their own ways of doing, because there are if you go to a mutt especially, they are before cooking they have their own kriyas. So keeping that in mind, we should not understand Brahmana Bhojana, because there are out of everything, in every script, anything that we want to do, it will say give a dana to Brahmana, give a this thing to Brahmana. But we should always understand that it should be within that particular understanding itself. That means within that particular achara itself. You should not call anybody and then that this thing should be Brahmana Bhojana should not take place. Dana is different. So in that sense, what we understand is that first oil bath has to be taken, and then with that the 300 names, that is the stotra, must be chanted. After that Kumkumarchana, after Naivedya, after that Brahmana Bhojana or Upayana Dana can be kept aside. In the end, after 14 days, what it takes, Pratipada to Purnami Tithi, after chanting continuously, it can be given to a Brahman. This is the method prescribed over here. There is no indication that somebody must do it. It is given over here. So therefore, I'm giving the methodology. So in the end, the person who does this, it gives that like one who does this, they will understand the mahima of this particular stotra, because it leads to Icha Purti. Then the phalas have been given over here, which is nothing but Icha Purti. It says there is nothing greater than the stotra which has been given. So Tadrusho Mahima Yadi, it is not there in anything else. So Vagdevi Swayam Rachitaha. This has not been given by any Rishi or anything like that. This is Hayagriva Uvacha. Hayagriva himself is saying this is given to me by Vagdevi herself. So there is no equivalence to this. That is what he is saying over here. So with that, he gives the knowledge of this particular shloka to Agastya Maharshi. And it is said that Agastya Maharshi goes back, and then Devi Lopamudra and Agastya Maharshi chant this with this methodology. And then they are able to finally, Lalita Ambika manifests to the couple. This is the whole story behind it. Either way, I'm very happy that, because I wanted to teach this for a long time, because this was given to me by my guru. They suggested it. And when I started reading it, I understood that there is so much. Just the Namavali is not enough. We have to understand the stories behind it, the jnana behind it, and all that. So thankfully enough, yeah, I was able to upload the videos with regard to this. So those who have been practicing, those who want to chant it, they can practice through that. And I would suggest, because this Navratri is tomorrow itself, it starts tomorrow, it is not possible for IPs or anything like that. So I would suggest groups to be made, and then there are roughly around 147 something, you can consider it as 150 shlokas. So 15 shlokas can be taken if 10 people are there in a group on a rotation. If they can do it, then throughout Navratri or the Dasara, they will be able to chant all the 150 shlokas in turns, so that it is not a burden also. And in a group, the Parayanam can be done on your own, because I know the Zoom slots are extremely, schedule is extremely tight. So this can be taken place, and maybe in the next satsang session, we can have one group Parayanam. So that can be done. Depends on the interest and the practice. I think with that we can conclude. I just wanted to give you the information. So I think today we can conclude the session. Let me just do the samarpanam. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः प्रतिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. धन्यवादः सर्वेभ्यः.
धन्यवादः महोदय.
धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः.